Hey everybody, welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Oana.
So we got a question today on the interwebs.
Okay.
And the question was, what is the difference between your down payment, your earnest money deposit, and closing costs? Aren't they all the same thing?
They are the same thing from the perspective that they are the buyer's money on the table.
Okay.
But that's kind of where the same thing stops.
So let's start with let's start with the earnest money deposit. What specifically is it?
Right. So the earnest money deposit is the first money that comes out of the buyer's pocket. That is the good faith money saying, yes, I'm going to buy this house, and as a token of good faith, I'm putting this money on the table, saying that it's like a holding amount of money, right? Yep. Most of the time, providing that you fulfill everything involved, that money gets credited to you at the end of the transaction. Most of the time, if there's something wrong with the house within your due diligence period, you can get that money back. So that money is the buyer's money, and it's just their good faith money that they're going to move forward with a transaction.
Okay. And so that's the first money that goes in. That's the earnest money deposit. Okay. Now let's talk about down payment. You're getting you only have a down payment if you're getting a loan.
Right.
The earnest money deposit is not the down payment.
No. So
because people think of, I went to the store and I put something on layaway and I put down a down payment. But they really didn't. They technically didn't put a down payment. They put in, they kind of put one, but it's almost like earnest money too, because sometimes they lose it if they change their mind, right? They have to buy the item, okay? So down payment, what is the down payment?
So down payment has to do with your loan. So let's say, for easy math purposes, that you're getting a $100,000 loan and that you need to have a 20% loan to value ratio on your loan. So I'm sorry, the purchase is $100,000 and that you need 20% down, so your down payment is $20,000. Now that goes against the purchase price. So you're buying it for $100,000, you're putting $20,000 down, the loan is $80,000. But remember that earnest money that we just talked about? So let's say that earnest money was $1,000. So now you owe a total of $20,000 in order to borrow the other $80,000, but all you're coming to closing with is $19,000 out of that for the down payment portion, because you already put down the $1,000.
Earnest money, not deposit.
Earnest money.
But it does go toward your deposit.
It goes toward your purchase price, toward your deposit. So that's kind of the second chunk of money. But please don't confuse your down payment with the money that you have to come in at closing with, because that's a different amount of money altogether.
Okay. So closing cost.
Yes.
What is a closing cost?
Okay. So closing costs are things like, and I'm going over this from the buyer's perspective,
okay,
because I think it illustrates the point between earnest money and down payment and closing costs better. So closing costs are things like maybe your home warranty, absolutely your escrow fees, absolutely your lender's title policy, maybe prorations like sewer, property taxes, things like that. So all of those are closing costs. So now we kind of go back to the beginning. So you put in the $1,000 over here for the earnest money. You needed a total of $20,000 for closing for down payment, and then you have these closing costs out here. There maybe are another couple $1,000.
Let's say they're $3,000.
Okay, $3,000. So now the money that you have to come in at closing with all together are the $1,000, the $20, and the $3. So that all together adds up to $24. However, that one that you have out here in earnest money gets credited against these other sums of money that you are that you're being charged. So in reality, what you have to come up with is your down payment and your closing costs, which is a total of $23,000. You already put $1,000 out here, so there you go.
Yeah. Okay. So the bottom line is, earnest money can go towards. It eventually gets credited toward down payment or closing costs. But down payment is your down payment. It's what you have to buy, the equity built into the thing to get the loan to fund. That's all it is. And if you buy cash, you don't have a down payment. Because down payment only is for a loan. Right.
So down payment is the equity that you have to purchase in the house in order for the lender to loan you the money.
Yeah. I think the tricky thing is, people who have never bought a house their only experience with buying things where they put a little money up front is like stuff on layaway.
Or buying a car.
And they call that a down payment, but it's not really. They say, okay, you put this much down, and then you pay the rest later. But it doesn't really work that way in real estate. You're not putting your down payment up front, because no one writes a check for 20 grand because you don't honestly know exactly what the lender is going to require. They may come back and say, we have a loan program where you only need 5,000 down, and they reconcile it all at closing. The earnest money is the money between you and the seller, buyer and seller, that just says, we're in this, we're putting our money up, escrow is going to hold it. That way, if I unreasonably cancel the deal outside of all the things we agree to, you can keep that money because I walked, and you'll at least get some compensation for it. Those are the differences. Anyway, if you liked the video, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave us comments, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.